All right, everyone, welcome. Welcome back to the Advanced Selenium Live Training. This is the day 20 for the thousands of participants who've been asking us when will Karthik upload day 4, day 5, and so on YouTube. For all of you guys, this is one of those advanced sessions. Hopefully, it'll give you a perspective. Team, like that we have hundreds of videos in the similar manner with ITeLearn. What we try and do is give you a feel of the way we do things, the way we train, and try and bring you up to the skill level that is needed for the industry. And once you're part of the commitment that we have personally guaranteed to make sure that you all will take the best benefit out of all of these training programs, then you are in the road. And believe us in one thing, team, your time, your effort is more valuable than anything else. So once you choose to go with a specific career option, then all that is next for you that is most important is your effort and your time. All right, having said that, let's continue with today's session. Unfortunately, as you've seen, team, not in the best of the health and shape as of now. uh, Flu like symptoms, nothing big, nothing major, just the cold and bad throat. Good that we are having an online presentation rather than an in person, so it's not contagious for you guys, so you're safe. All right, so what are we going to do today, team? At a high level, let me talk about the agenda. We're gonna do a recap of what we've done so far in our Selenium WebDriver with Core Java training. The first four projects, I'm gonna do a quick recap of it. Second, I'm gonna give you a brief idea about what is coming next in the next 2 weeks. What is the fifth, sixth, and the seventh projects that we're planning. So when I say projects, team, one of the things that you should have realized by now is with ITeLearn, we only believe in growth, in learning, and in your confidence building through project based training. It is never a concept based training, it is a project. So we take a project, we take an actual application, and then we talk about how do we perform testing or automation testing or build a framework and so on. What that does is it gives you an immense control about the approach, the process, which is most important. And as part of it, you also learn all the concepts that are needed. Then the fifth, sixth, and seventh projects are primarily around these three areas. How can we use Selenium, WebDriver, along with Core Java and JUnit to build a keyword driven framework? Then the next project is going to be specifically around working with some dynamic applications and the elements around the applications there. The third one is how do we try and combine this towards a very powerful hybrid automation framework. This is the schedule for the or the plan for the next 2 weeks. That's what we're going to be working on. I am also very glad that I'm joined by my team, my technical team, as part of this session. Manoj, can I make a request to you, please, while we're doing this? The one for the project 6 that we talked about, dynamic apps and elements. Can you just bring out those questions and put it into a Word doc that's handy for us? I want to share that with the team towards the mid of the session. Very importantly, next comes the prerequisites. Prerequisites is before you get into this training, the day 20 and beyond, what are you supposed to have already mastered? All right, that's very critical. And then finally, what is it that you can expect during and towards the end of this training, team? All right, so that's the agenda for the session, of the first part of it, for the first 20 minutes or so. After that, we're going to kick off with our day 20, the project 5, how we go about building a keyword driven framework, team. All right. All right. So before I proceed, I do have poll questions. This is a great way for me to interact and get a input from you all as an audience, and that gives a great understanding for us. Also, you have that ability to take it with to see what the other participants are doing. We have we have over 150 participants in this webinar so far, and there are people who still continue to join every minute. Let's start with this and take a poll. This is the first poll, team. Once again, team, for all the people who've just joined, I just want to apologize for my bad throat, my bad voice, but I'm going to try and do the best justice I can. All right, I've just launched the poll, and this poll the question is very simple. It's just a yes or no answer. The question is very simple, team. Do you believe in a strong QA automation career with Selenium? What I mean to say is there are many, many tools in the industry. It's just not Selenium. There is QTP, there is Load Runner, there is Microsoft testing suite, and then there are a bunch of so many other functional test automation tools. Do you think that Selenium is going to give you a great choice? What is your perspective? And this answer, team, is going to be answered by over 150 participants. We've got about 50% votes in. Please take another 10 seconds and get your votes in, everyone, so that we can close and move on to the next. Just to give you a perspective, that once we decide to go in a route and our effort and our time is being spent in the right direction, is it worthy of it? Will it give you the right number of job opportunities that you could land in a successful job in a certain period of time? Will it give you the ability to get that income goal that you're thinking about, and so on? All right, team. So another 5 seconds, and I'm going to close it. There's 76% votes in. I'm going to request for the remaining few of you to complete it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and close. All right. So there you go. I've closed the results and now I'm sharing the results with all of you team. So if you've noticed, 98% of you believe in it. And that's something that the reason I'm sharing it with all of you is because of the fact that it talks about um, the power of the tool that we've chosen. There is an extremely strong QA automation career with Selenium. Had I asked the same question for any other tool, I don't believe I will get so much response. And that means that you are in the right direction. All right. We are all in the right direction. Let me go with the next one, team. This is very important also for us to understand. This poll talks about what is your current expertise level on Selenium, core Java, Webdriver, and automation. This is primarily important because only this next 2 weeks is not for everyone, team. Typically, the Selenium training that I talked about is, I say that yes, it is open for all. There are no specific prerequisites. This one does have a prerequisite. What is your expertise level? Are you someone who don't even know what is Selenium? And that is absolutely fine, team. No problem. We understand, we all start somewhere, and that inquisitiveness itself will take us into the next steps. I'm glad if I will be one of those few people in the world that is going to introduce Selenium to you. So very simple, you're an expert to what is Selenium. And then there are three other options in between, which basically say you're pretty comfortable, a little here and there, very new kind of an atmosphere. All right, there we go. We've got about 83% votes in. I'm going to close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Thank you all. There was, in fact, a feedback last time when I conducted this polls that why are you taking so much time on polls? For these sessions, it is important, guys. All right. When we get into the subject, we will flow so smoothly. We have no time for anything. All right. Very rare is it that we do an orientation, or very rare will it be that you are seeing what others think. So, team, the good part is the experts are only 2%. That is very good. It's even good for me. When I say it's good for me, because my idea is not the fact that I'm trying to get into a challenge question with someone else and go head on head with trying to see who's better. It's just the fact that I'm trying to teach. There is a specific methodology, there is a medium through which I will deliver my lectures. And that is going to be in such a way that I'm assuming you're all in these three categories. If you're absolutely new to what is Selenium, or very new, the top bottom two team, unfortunately, this training is not for you all. All right. When I say that, not yet. You have some groundwork to do before you get here. I don't believe you will be able to do it in the next 3-4 days. However, we are the most popular in terms of our video based training, not just the live webinars. So that option will be good. But the target audience team is the 30% and this 52% out here. This is where this course is oriented for. Okay, experts, good. If you are really hungry for that knowledge, please stay on. What is Selenium? Team, give yourself another month before you get to this day 20. Day 1 to day 19 is what gonna be very critical for you. Thank you so much. There's the result. That's gone. Now, this is the other question. I'm so sorry. I have to do this polls. I love it. Uh, and this gives us a lot of inputs, team. This is what's going to give us the direction. This poll specifically is not for everyone. So, people who have not attended the previous day, 19 days of sessions, do not vote for it. Just a request. The participants, almost close to 100 people, have been attending the day till day 19. And I want to take a feedback from you guys. How was it? Where do you think we have done it? Right from loved it to hated it. But then there are three other levels in between. My only request, team, is I don't mind if you have any feedback that is there and hated it or could have been better, but I would love to hear where we could improve. I always believe in the constant improvements that I would try to make personally in my career and in the business of ITeLearn that we do. We would love to hear. But overall, team, I request everyone who has participated in the previous 19 sessions that have happened to give your feedback. uh, I'm going to close this in the next 5 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. A little faster in closing it, but thank you. I think I try to close it before I get the hated it. No, not really. I think we still gave about a minute plus for the poll. I'm just trying to be a little light humored about things. All right, Tim, there you go. Thank you so much, everyone. 31%, 41, 17. So nice, pretty good, loved it, has been the majority, and I sincerely thank you, because had we not done a good job in the first 19 days, when I said we, it is not ITeLearn, it is me along with the 100 odd participants who have actively participated in these 19 sessions. Had we not, as a team, learned and put ourselves well, we are not ready for what's coming next. That is the reason I wanted to make sure that I share. So it's a great honor to see the positivity in the feedback. Almost 41, 72% of you are in the top. 17% of you still believe it's nice. No one hated it. That's brilliant. Could have been better. Please let us know. Comments or here or email, that will help us to improve. All right. So great. I've hidden those results, and then two more polls, but we'll come to it later. Let's go back to our agenda of what we plan to do and then continue from there. What is it that we wanted to do? Okay, a quick summary of what did we did from project 1 to 4, and I want good inputs from the I'm so sorry, team. My voice is very bad. I really can't. This is a strange thing. I had a awesome break for the last few days, almost a week. During this time, I never had an issue with uh, my health and so on. It just started to peak in now. So nothing really that I could do about it, but then that's fine. What has to happen. But I had to do this session. Let me try and do my best around it. So what I'm doing, team, is basically I'm creating a new folder in my Google Drive called SCL Feb 25. That's basically Selenium Feb 25. That's the name we're giving to the folder. So in here, what I'm going to do is create a simple Google Doc. I'm going to call it as story so far and give you an idea of what we did in each project. So the first project that we did, team, was a basic IDE, Selenium IDE. When I say IDE, Selenium IDE, and we learned how to create test cases, suites, etc. in IDE, element identification, XPath, etc., and some basic automation techniques. What is automation? How do we automate anything? And what is the whole science behind it? The beauty behind the automation story team. That is what we try to do. Let me also open up ITeLearn website. Manoj and team, I'm going to request you to kindly let me know if I am missing out in any of the important chat messages that are coming out, so I'm not able to keep my eyes open towards it as I move through this, please ping me if needed. So Selenium training videos, and out here we have over 200 videos. Team, there is no dearth to the amount of knowledge that you can gain. But what you need is really that guided tour, and that is what we're trying to do with these sessions. So Selenium Fast Track 5, the Jan 12th, 2015 batch, that is the videos. I'm going to copy this URL and put it as part of this document. Okay. So you have it handy as we go along. Selenium story so far. All right. So that's project one. What did we do in the project two? We spoke briefly about how we can take all that we have done in IDE and the basics of as a type and as a think team. There is usually that brief silence that happens because I'm kind of can't do both together. I've started to uh, get more focused towards single tasking. Single tasking is where we do one thing and one thing only and try and focus to do that good. There's been so many years in my career that I've done multitasking, three, four screens, and if on phone in one hand and all that stuff. Now we've gone beyond. We're trying to focus in creating big things, and that's how it happens. So, WebDriver basics, we talked about how we do the Eclipse setup and so on, so that we work with core Java and JUnit basics, and how we take the test from IDE into Eclipse. This is from Selenium IDE into Eclipse. Am I going the right direction, everyone? Are you all with me so far? I'm just giving you what has happened so far and then giving you the perspective of where we have started. Where is this going right now? All right. Let me quickly look at some questions if there are any. All right. Perfect. Thank you. I got one good advice saying boil raw ginger in cup of water, then strain it, add 1 spoon of honey and drink. This is magic formula for my family. Works like a charm. Please try. Thank you, Rajwant. I will try, but I'm so lazy just to even thinking of the big process. Ginger tea and honey. I know, guys. Trust me, turmeric in milk. What is the biggest problem? I think laziness. All of us. See, all of you, you're probably expert in that area. I'm probably an expert in selenium area, and we're trying to share. And that is where I think I have to take the advice. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right after the session and see. What I did is I had a hot cup of green tea. So hopefully that did something. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Let's continue. Okay. So project 3, what did we do in project 3? So by the end of project 2 team, we got to know about Selenium IDE. How do we work? How does automation work? What is the target command and the additional info data points that you can give? Then we learned how we can convert the format into a Selenium WebDriver format. Take that script, install Eclipse, install all those required archive jar files that are needed to be able to execute your JUnit and core JavaScripts, and how we can simply take one script and run it in Eclipse, not with IDE. And that was phenomenal change for us. Once we moved there, we never looked back at IDE except for trying to use the Firebug. I think we didn't talk about Firebug and element identification we spoke, right? So I can write it here. Uh, all of that stuff, and only to go and verify that the XPath that you saw was good enough to be identified and so on. Uh, I think that was our tipping point where we have started to see what is programming, but I believe the fun started in project 3, where we said, let us build a simple data driven framework. And I think we spent almost about 8 days on this alone, right? How we mastered, when I say mastered, core Java and JUnit. I'm not saying that we mastered the whole part of Java and like a developer does, but from an automation perspective, okay, to the extent of what we needed. all that information, how we could do, we put it there. And the idea about how to build a automation framework, build an automation framework from ground up. Why am I making so many spell errors? Build an automation framework from ground up. And then this kind of gave all the confidence of knowing how it is. But then we didn't stop there. We said, let's do a project 4. And we said, as part of project, sorry, team, as part of project 4, we will do a data driven framework itself, project 2, repeat all that we learned so far into this specific project. So all the participants who found that certain areas of the project 2 and 3 which seemed to be complex had built up that confidence during the project 4, because the art of learning something is practice, team. Getting the right introduction to things, getting the right guidance, and then trying to keep doing it over and over again. And that is very critical. So, that project 4 is what really triggered everything off for you in terms of your confidence. Now, this spoke about a lot of things. How do we, all the core Java concepts, teams, the methods, the functions, we talked about objects, the properties for it, how do we work with WebDriver, finding the elements, the if statements, for loops, all of that have been exposed in there. Now, what we will do as part of the project 5 is this. Project 5 is going to be something called as a keyword driven framework, and we will be talking a little bit about this as we go along. We will learn to build a KDF, if I may call this as a KDF, and that's the kind of an acronym for keyword driven framework, from ground up. What does the ground up concept mean when I'm talking about it? What it means is we're going to take something from scratch. There's nothing, no code, nothing anywhere, just a thought, just an intent, and start designing to build something. And that is what we're going to see in the coming few minutes. And then we will implement the this KDF project into a new application under test. I'll just call it as AUT. And when we're building this, KDF is built to be app independent. So what this means is, irrespective of the application, this keyword driven framework can be utilized for those. And team, I know for any one of you who has not gone through the first at least 2 or 3 projects, it will be kind of a tough thing. But let me tell you, how do we fill this gap between project 4 and project 5 before I move forward? Filling the gap to continue. We don't have too much time, team, number one. And I'll tell you one thing, time is limited. You need to listen to what I say and follow instructions. This is the only way things will work out for anyone who's trying to get into project 5 in the minimal amount of time. The way it's going to work is you're going to start watching a few movies, and that's almost about 18 to, I think it'll be about 17 hours, 17 hours long. This is what you're going to do. You will not rewind, you will not pause, you will not skip, just watch it like a movie. This is all that you're going to do, team. Remember this. The reason is very simple. The way I introduce things, I continue and I intend to repeat them over and over again. Okay, so what we have done in project 1, if anything was not clear, will become clear automatically in project 2. But if you try and stop, rewind, pause, replay, and do all of that stuff, you will never move from project 1 to project 2. That is what has happened typically. Okay, once you complete complete first 4 projects, you are eligible to understand what happens next. Not master yet. However, after end of project 7, you will repeat this cycle with a new set of training videos. That is what will happen to you. Okay. So, and this time you will practice on the side. There is no other better way to do this. Do not waste time for practice right now. I am one of the very few people's team. If I get someone attending an interview who does not have a practical skill, I am abrupt. I am absolutely blunt. I am sorry, sir, ma'am. I want to respect your time, my time. It's not going to happen. So let's cut it out. I the still, despite the fact I'm giving this because I want you to accomplish a goal. At the end, you must be a master in Selenium. The market, when I say market, the consulting organizations, the clients, the interviewers, A should love your resume, B should look forward to speaking with you, and C, once they interact with you, they know exactly that this is what we were looking for. That is the kind of skill I want to develop, nothing else. I am not ready for a compromise. If I need to go in that direction, this is the way. Okay. For all the participants who have done project 1 to project 4, very good. I think you're there, you're all set, so no problem, just continue. I in fact gave you one exercise, if you all remember, and I start getting a few messages about it too. Sorry team. After project 4, and that kind of should have given you good practice. That's more than enough team. Now project 5 is a keyword driven framework. Project 6, Manoj, did you get a chance to put all those questions into one document, please, for me? Is gonna
Yes,
be
Karthik.
working on a dynamic app. Is it in the same document? Because that document had more the script and everything also, right? Did you share it as a email? If you're not, that's fine. We will share it in the next session. That's fine. Or I can do this. I can do it very quickly. Make a copy, or yeah, make a copy. Selenium. Sorry, team. I've kind of frozen the screen because I wanted to do something here. Selenium. What did I want to say? Yeah, dynamic app elements. Say okay, and I'm gonna move this quickly to this folder. So team, I may take 5 or 10 minutes additional today because we've still not started with our keyword the day 20. So please bear with me on that as we go along. Self Web 25, we moved it there, and now let me do this. All right, so I'm ready to take up any questions meanwhile, please, that any of you have. So please start putting your questions in the meanwhile in the chat. I would love to answer them in the next minute. I should be done by then. What we did is basically for each of these challenge questions or the tips and tricks kind of an exercise, we've tried to identify different applications and put a storyboard together. That's what my team helped me with to take an example and see how we can use that. That is the content that I'm trying to edit before I show you what questions we're trying to answer through this. As project 6, what is a keyword driven framework, what is data driven framework, all of those things, team, in a very practical manner we will be exposing you to. It's going to take a little time, but this is an advanced training. It is not for everyone, so please, if we are advising you not to take it, there is a reason for it then. All right, I just wanted to make sure that you all are aware of it. All right, team, there you go. So here is a list of questions that we want to answer as we go through it. It's a still very rough document, it's crude, it's not got the format and so on. But the project 6 will be around these questions. I'm not going to read it out to you. You all will be able to read it as I show it on the screen. But what is very important for you is to make sure that we go through this. What we will do as part of day project 6. This is going to be okay. Let's see. Is this whole webinar just about projects? So, Kita, the idea is very simple. It is about mastering Selenium, Webdriver, Core Java, automation frameworks, and all that is needed. But what we try and do is we take a project route. We take an example application and we go about implementing each and everything through it. And that is how we learn through that way. All right. How do you submit the project? I will let you know, Sabita. Manoj will write back to you. Then you can send an email back to everyone. Why can't I see what anyone is saying? So Kita, we have closer to 200 participants in this session, and we try and take questions so that we are not getting disturbed from the focus. As the questions are relevant, I'm sharing it with everyone. And then, are we covering POM model? I think Manoj, that is something we've been requested earlier. Also, I think we should do the page object model, probably as a project 8 in it. Pranav, very specific technical question. Please take it in the technical forum. We have a great forum there. Can you please define what is a dynamic app? Okay, so Deepika will be getting to it a little later. I'm not taking any of the technical questions in this session. It is not the intent, team, because what we try and do is take the questions as they become relevant for us. What is day 20? What did you teach before 20? I think, Venkat, that is exactly what I've been saying so far, but I'll kind of give an overview again. How do we decide which framework to use? Very simple, team. First, unless you know what those frameworks are, how will you decide which frameworks to use? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to identify what these frameworks are and so on. For example, just to give you an idea, when we completed the project 4, let's see if I have it out here, the file, project 4 DDF. Yeah. So at the end of the project, we could talk about what that framework is, how we have uh, taken advantage, what are the advantages for that framework, what are the disadvantages for that framework. And the text is not important, the concept is important, how we've come there, and that is the reason we focused so many days in building this framework, how we went about building an approach, the test cases, the test data, and all of that stuff. I think it was an amazing project. We all enjoyed it. It was challenging, and that is what gives us the control. All right, team. So I'm going to get back to the session. I think there are a few. So there are lots of other topics that I've trained on. I've finished it. I'm not picking everything up. If I need to do all of those trainings, team, this will take about 100 sessions in total. But the good part is if you go to our video library, you will see the sessions on all this area. For example, we talked Ajax, dynamic pages, alerts, pop-up windows. That's all addressed out here already. How do we work with grid in a real-time environment? Okay, how do we set it up? How do we work with it? TestNG and all of that is here. The your SVN version controlling, Maven for your build and so on. All of that information and videos are here. The database testing, interview preparation. So the overall library has got all of that content that you require. We are trying to take specific topics and then put it up there. All right, so that is dynamic app and so on. Project 7 is going to be something called as a hybrid framework. as I said earlier, we will know more details about it as we go along. I'm not going to spend too much time out here right now on this, but what we're going to do now is get started with day 20, the keyword driven framework, which is going to be the first session for it. Are we good then, everyone, to get started there? All right, cool. So we've got about 20-25 minutes at least to spend solid on this. So let's talk about this specific concept now. What is a keyword driven framework? Why do I need to build it? How is it going to be built? All right. I don't think we'll be able to address all of it in one session. It's going to take us at least 5-6 sessions to kind of complete it. But here is how it's going to work, team. Primarily, if I can take a white background and try and experiment with my drawing skills, let me talk about this concept. What does a user do on a machine? What are those things that a user performs on a machine? How does a user interact with a computer, be it a laptop, desktop, in fact, even a mobile device? But primarily, what are the interactions? Let's talk about a laptop, for example. All right. Now, let's assume that this is the laptop and you have the keypad out here. And then you also have the mouse. This is your display. Right. I'm proud of myself to put something as a decent image out here, which looks like a laptop. All right. So, what are the user interactions that we come up with, team? How do you communicate? So, for example, how am I communicating with you? You can hear me, you can see my screen, and whatever I do on my screen, you're able to see. How do we interact? Guys, I have almost 180 participants here, and I get only 2 answers. Wake up, come on. Typing, correct. We use the keyboard, right? And what else? To send keys into. Then we also use the mouse to point where we want to send that information. And we are also able to visually take feedback as to what is happening, correct? These are the ways that we interact. Now, any application that is there on the website, the user will be using these 3 ways to interact, correct? Yes? Visually using a keyboard and a mouse. That is it. Is there any other way that they're interacting with? Of course, everything else like file systems and external data, all of that. But end of the day, this is how they're going to interact with any application. Now we're talking about automation testing. What is automation testing, team? To test any given application, specifically web apps, using our Selenium Webdriver or Selenium concept overall, to see if that application is behaving in the right manner as expected. The functionality is correct, yes or no. That is the whole purpose. Now, to do that, we should understand where can failures happen. Now, it's very simple, team. Let's say we are trying to build a car which is going to drive on the road. What are you going to do to test to see that it is doing what it is supposed to do, and the final buyers of the car will be happy, will not have issues? You will talk about testing it: crash test, dummy test, fuel test, road test, slide test. But will you do a flying test to see is the car going to fly correct? No. Yes, you'll do an aerodynamic test to see that it is efficient enough to cut through the wind and so on, right? But you're not going to do flying tests. So there are certain things that are relevant to that application or that specific object. Now, what keyword driven framework tries to do is say that we will divide all of these steps that the user performs into small keywords and then try and create a reusable library out of it. If any of you are currently lost with what I said, I don't blame you, and that is fine, because I'm not expecting you to master what it is today, but after the last session of this project, then you have to. Now, let us talk about a very simple test case that a user may perform. Very simple test case. What is a test case? A bunch of steps that a user starts with to be able to arrive at a specific end. Whatever they can perform in an application, they're going to see how the application starts to behave based on the simple steps. Let us talk about a test case which is like a banking application, simple one which most of us are used to. For this banking application, let us talk about one test case which is called as a login. A user would love to log in to their banking account. What do? The first step is they go visit the URL or the website. The second step is they enter the username or let's say email ID. The third step is they will enter a password. The fourth step is they will gonna click on the login button. The fifth step is probably to confirm to see if everything is good. And then the sixth step is we're going to log out from that account. This is the test case for the login, not log out, for logging into a banking application. In fact, it's the same process almost to every application. Now, if we try and take an Excel sheet and display the same concept there, test case ID, test step, sorry. So I'm going to try and zoom this so that it's big enough for all of you to see very clearly. Here I'm going to say TC001. Very simple. No complexity so far. All of you should be comfortable in this area. The step is go to the URL. Next one is enter email address. Next one is enter password. Then click on login button. Confirm login. Log out. There you go. I don't read this anymore. Now this is our test case team. For this test case, what is it that the user is going to perform? And now can you tell me please? In terms of what we just answered earlier in the first diagram that we drew, is the first diagram here. There is a visual, there is a keyboard, there is a mouse interaction that we do. And what is it that we're trying to do? You tell me now. This is basically to open a browser, correct? We open a browser and then we go to that URL. To enter email address, what do, team? We type in a edit field, right? To enter password, what do? Again, type in a edit field, right? To click on a login button, what do? We click a button. Then to confirm login, what do? We read the text from the web page where it says, welcome Karthik, thank you for logging in and so on. Then to do a logout, what do? We click on a logout on a link. These are the different steps that we're performing. Now, each of this is what we're going to call or describe as keywords. Let me save this before I lose it. New folder, Sel F25, KDF1, save. Okay, save this file. Now, each of the steps is defining a keyword. Now, do you understand what I'm trying to say is a keyword? Probably not yet. But if I create a new sheet out here, I'm going to rename this as keywords. Now you can tell me what, according to you, are the most used keywords that we find, that we interact with on an application. So on every application team, there is an object or an element, and we'll talk briefly about this. And then what is the method that we have to perform on it? So if you notice, team, I have not even introduced you to the steps or the process of keyword driven framework. All I'm trying to say is that there is a specific interaction that users can perform on an application, and we're trying to build them out first. What are the different types of objects and elements that we can see in any web-based application? Think about it now. So if you go back to the first sheet, you see we're talking a browser, an edit field, a button. There are two activities out here: the where portion of it and the what. where is the object, what kind of an object we're talking, and the what is it that we want to do. Is it a car, is it a flight, is it a phone, and so on. Now, what are those different objects that you encounter? Let's talk about a few of them. Okay, go ahead, guys. Browser is an object, because on a browser you can do something like open a browser. You can navigate to a specific URL on it. You can also close a browser. Correct? These are the things that you could do on a browser. What else? Let us say a text field or edit field where you can type some information. So you can type information into an edit field. What is an edit field? Any field that you see in an application. Let's see if I can take you to one website and use that as a driving force for this. Sorry, team, my health is still so bad that I'm not able to really uh, speak that clearly as I would have loved to, but I'm giving my best. So, for example, this is an edit field where we can go and type something. Say, let's say I'm looking at kayak.com to book a hotel. So I'm going to say Los Angeles is my location. So I'm typing something there. That is my edit field. What we are trying to do as part of this is identify those different type of elements that we encounter and what are the typical methods that we perform on it. What else is there? Then there is a link. What can you do on a link, team? You will click on a link. All right. Then there is a button. You will also click on a button. Then there could be a drop down or a drop down list, which is where you have something to select from. For example, you click here and you see there are options out here. So you can say that you select an item from it. Right? Then you have a radio box. What is the radio box? You have multiple options, then you choose one of them. So let's see under flights, if there's a radio box, there is a check box here. Let's talk about multi-city and see. I don't see a radio box out here at least, but then that's where we'll have to explore and try and find uh, applications where there are these features there for us. What are packages, Kayak? I never saw this. Oh, travel packages. Okay. All right, let's go back. So here I'm saying radio box where you check an option from it. So you're given multiple options and you choose which option. Then you have something like a checkbox where you check or uncheck that checkbox. Now, what I'm trying to show here is any test step, any step that a user performs will belong to such type of an activity. It is not limited to only these 10 that I've shown here. There'll be a few dozen more that you can keep building as we go along, but some of these are the basic ones. Now, what we are trying to say is we will create a keyword, a reusable keyword out of each of these. And for example, call this as browser open, call this as browser navigate, call this as browser close, and so on. And all that I will do each time is call out for this step to get executed rather than having to write a new step each time. Now, a keyword driven framework, the whole concept that it's talking about, team, is this is the steps that we will use for log out. Now, for login, we're going to use something for let's say transferring money from one account to another account as a new test case, team. You will perform similar steps. You will first do the entire login, which includes all of these steps. Give me a minute, please. Then you will look at the balance in your account. Then you will start talk about the transfer account, which account are you transferring, then the amount that you're going to be entering into it, and then we will perform the entire transaction. So there is a lot of reusability of these steps that can be avoided. And your keyword driven framework that we will build, team, will work on this specific manner. Now, to build this keyword driven framework, the steps that we're going to take, let's put that up here as the first sheet. KDF plan. How do we go about developing a keyword driven framework in the next coming few days? Step number, description, and a status. This will give us the entire ability to see what we've done so far, what we're doing, and so on. All right. So the first step is to identify all the reusable keywords, team. What do I mean by this? We have started to list some of these activities. How do we go about making sure that we identify everything? We start with some, we make certain progress on it. Let's say we did about 25% of it. We continue to add as we go. All right. Two is create a simple test case to run a small portion of our keyword driven framework. So we will start with building a very simple test case, which is something like this, which we have done right now. All right, test case. Then create, this is the one which we've done right now in our sheet, team, okay, in our Excel sheet. Okay, create a Selenium Webdriver script to run the above test case. That is the next step we're going to do. 4. Identify all the related web elements and store their XPath. 5. Identify any test data that will be required to run the test case. And team, as we go about, that is when the clarity will come. If I confuse any of you at this point, I have no issue. But as you go into towards the 70-80% of this project, you should really have such a great idea about all that we've done that you should be able to guide to build something similar very quickly towards the end of it. So identify any test data that will be required to run the test case. Now create the reusable keyword function library using core Java. This is what we're going to do, team. All right. 7 is associate the test case with these keywords. 8 is add more test cases. 9, provide the information of keywords, element identification, and test data at the Excel sheet level. 10, create a driver script that will read through the Excel and identify what is needed. 11 is going to be then apply the error handling and testing to the script, to the driver script. Run a dry run and debug the code. And then we will talk about the next steps from there on. There are a bunch of things that we will continue to do towards the end, about 15-16 steps, about 5 to 6 sessions in total. We should be able to complete this exercise. But at a high level, this is the approach that we're going to take. The reason I always try and put an approach towards our plan is so that once we start executing, our thought is no longer to try and think at every point. one of the toughest things to do as humans team is to make a decision. So the good part about a plan is you have made a decision that this is the direction you'll go, this is what we will do. And now it has become much more easier for us to go about implementing it. What we're going to be doing in the next session is we will take this test case, we will talk about how we create the Selenium WebDriver script using core Java or JUnit, and then we will get into these next few things, team. I wish I could do have done more in today's session. And I'll see if I can get some more seeds generated for the next session so you get a feel of what we're doing next and so on. But team, if you have not been exposed to all those concepts that I was talking about earlier, then you must, because without those specific preliminary requirements that I was talking about, this is going to be tough for each of you. All right. So please make sure that you spend enough time before the next session, day 21, to go through all of this and watch all of these videos that are there in the website. Let me take you to the page. And while I'm saying that, you're more than welcome to start putting your questions so I can start answering it at the earliest. So we have the few free videos, then there are project 2, project 3, project 4. All of these videos, once you log in and you have the right access to it, you'll be able to see them out here. Till then, I think it's a premium member thing. I have not logged into the application, that's why it's not showing up for me. But there you go. That's where you have all the information. Uh, Questions, please. Please note, if there's any question that is a technical question, I'm not handling it because of very simple. We have a great forum and a tech support team. They are uh, available for you to answer them. So you just have to go to a technical support forum. The link is there. It should be relevant to what we've done today and relevant to what we may be doing next. And all your questions from a technical perspective, you can use this. We have thousands of members, thousands of posts here. You will really take benefit from it, so please try and be part of it. All the premium members are part of this team. We have about 6,300 since the beginning of last year, who have been actively using it, so you should definitely involve into it. All right, questions, team. Let me see what I can take quickly. uh, I'm assuming all of you could see the screen and the audio also. Some of the members had a issue with it. I think one or two people typically have it, and it's usually the settings at their hand. Not able to find much time to practice as I'm working 12 hours a day at work. So Hima, here is my suggestion. As I said, don't overstretch yourself at the moment. Try and take it as is and continue the rhythm of understanding what I'm doing first. Okay. Once we complete this, what you're going to be doing is you will take another exercise. I'll show you. For example, you use these videos to watch them and just learn through it. Very good. Now, what you do is when you want to practice, take any other fast track. There are hundreds of videos out here. Take any other fast track. After we complete this, then you start to practice. You will absolutely be a master by end of the second round. All right. Sorry, team. My throat is really bad, so I'm kind of struggling to keep up with the discussion. Can we automate? Say again. I don't understand why we are asking technical questions. Let's keep it out of it, please. When is the next session? Is it tomorrow? So, team, what we do is the session communication, everything will happen directly to GoToMeeting and the emails. So, if you look at the this specific GoToMeeting webinar that you've already been given access to, you will see the schedule for it. Let me briefly show you the schedule as of now. Okay, there you go. So this is the Selenium Advanced Live Training that we are in right now. It meets for 32 times. And as I was telling you, team, earlier, we have over almost 1,200 registrants for this specific session. So there's a lot of demand. Unfortunately, uh, we are in advanced stage, so we will only accept the people who have passed the prerequisite or who have earlier gone through our training. So we are right now on Feb 25th. The next session is March 2nd. So the full week of March 2nd and the full week of March 9th is what we're looking at. There is a possibility, depending on how we do how we progress, that we may do additional sessions, and we may have to extend it by a few more days. But that's the schedule as of now. Can we attend the next session? Is it free or paid one? So every session is going to be paid one, team, day 21 onwards. So please contact the team to be able to see what's next. Karthik, I understand everything you play in the class, but I have a very tight schedule at work. I don't have enough time to practice. This seems to be a very common thing, but I'm sure if I'm able to watch your videos, will be helpful. So Hassan or everyone else who has a similar question, uh, I'm going to put this also here so you all understand and see what others are trying to going through, and you're not alone in it. If I need to do anything new in my career, in my personal life, in my professional life, I can't stop doing what I'm doing right now to get there. And that is where I need to work a little harder. Yes, it is not easy for us, all of us, to work very hard. But the idea is this, team. Not every one of you needs to go through this complex level learning immediately. What do you need right now? You need that enough skill that will get you through your career break, your career change, your aspirations of why you're trying to learn Selenium. And once you're on the job, you can always take things as needed and be able to practice on it. Like, for example, you join a job and then they say, you know what, let's work on Selenium Grid. At that time, you have no clue about Selenium Grid. I have not done it as part of the recent webinar. Then how will you do it? You have the video library. Let's say there is an example of some complex Ajax web element. You're not able to recognize it. What do you do? Or a pop-up coming, what do you do? Or you want to set up an ant environment and all that. So all of those you can learn on demand as needed. But what we're trying to do now is get you that platform and the confidence that you can go attend your interviews, build a proper resume with the right skill set, and then get to the next level. All right, so that is how you should try and treat yourself as of now, team. uh okay, let's see. So team, anything regarding sales, please, I'm not trying to sell out here, so contact the team. They will my team will be more than happy to guide you. Kunwar, it's not about test engine or JUnit. In fact, when we do these frameworks, our framework is going to be so powerful that we're going to only stick with core Java. JUnit and TestNG are very preliminary. Once you get to a framework level, we bypass them. We build everything custom for ourselves. But all that you need from a JUnit perspective or TestNG perspective is already there as tutorials. Let's see, Navin Kumar. I know QTP and RFT developed frameworks. How long will it take to learn Selenium as well? So that's good, team. So if you've already done in another automation tool, the scripting, the knowledge of frameworks and so on, almost 50% of your work is done. So now, if you, let's say it took you 100 hours to master QTP, then it should not take you more than 50 hours to do Selenium. All right, because the concept, the approach is very similar for all of it. Team, I do have a couple of other poll questions. I think not very relevant anymore because we've gone through it. Let's see. Can I send you my resume for review? Not to me, Aisha. If you're a premium member, you can send it to the tech support. My team, the placement support, they will be able to review it for you. I'm new to your live webinar, but I saw your YouTube videos. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mamta. How do we submit the exercise you gave? Yemi, can you send it to manoj at ITeLearn.com, please? That is the email address to send it to. All right, team. I believe that's it for what we have today. I'm sure there'll be more questions. I will definitely try and see if I can get a few more seats opened up for the session on coming Monday. In the meanwhile, I just want to make sure that to let you know that we have a lot of registrants for this right now. So we want to make sure that we get the right people who have the right skill set to take it to the advanced level. All right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye for now. We'll see you back on Monday. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.